What's up? YoBeAwesome Podcast, episode 17. This is Magiktea, the founder of Magiktea. Tell us about this.
So this right here is called Palo Azul, which means blue wood in Spanish, because when you boil the wood of this tree in water, it turns blue in the light because it has nutrients. It turns blue. We'll see it in a little bit, but basically when you put it in water, it has nutrients that are fluorescent. So when you put it in the sun or with a flashlight, it turns blue, and they're called polyphenols. So that's what makes it antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, and that's why in Mexico they drink it for kidney health and liver health, diabetes, as a natural remedy. These come in plant-based tea bags, so there's no microplastics, no bleach. Makes it easier to make, and it's just one ingredient.
You don't have to pitch so hard, you know?
Yeah.
How did you?
No, totally. Just explaining pretty much what it is, but that's it.
When we look at how blue it is, get more in the pitch. But like, where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia?
Born in Colombia.
Is this a product that people normally have in Colombia?
It doesn't actually grow in Colombia at all, so people in Colombia don't really know about this too much, except maybe now because of social media, but I discovered it through a friend who is from Mexico, and the tree is from Mexico. So I had no idea that this existed until I was 20 years old, and I was playing in a band, and then the singer of the band told me about the tea. So that's how I discovered the magic, pretty much.
The singer was drinking some Palo Azul?
He was drinking some magic, and then he told me one day that it turns blue in the light, and he showed me with the flashlight, like maybe you remember seeing when I showed it to you.
I've seen it.
And he showed it to me, and I just saw the blue color, and I was amazed by how this wood, you put it in water and it turns blue, and then I started reading about it. So then I started just learning about those polyphenols.
So are you 20 at this time?
At this moment, I'm 31.
No, but when you started reading...
Oh, at that moment in time, I'm 20 years old, pretty much. Oh, when I started reading heavily, I started reading about it at 20, 21, but I went deep into it 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to start the company, and now I really want to learn everything that there is to know about this tea. So that's when I really just went deep into all the studies and spent probably hundreds of hours, maybe thousands even, if you put it all together. Because I started writing a bunch of articles about all the benefits, and there's around 45 studies.
Business, you started writing about the benefits?
It was simultaneous.
Okay, so you're I'm gonna.
But kind of before, before I had a product, before I had it in a pouch, I was already reading about it, and I had the website kind of under wraps, I was building it. So to build a website, part of the website for me was teaching people about it. So for me, the best way I think to feel like I could teach people about this tea and what it's good for was reading all the studies and learning exactly what it does for the kidneys, what it does for diabetes, what it does for liver health.
Diabetes.
So that's why I dove deep.
So those are the main things. Did you have diabetes or kidney health or concerns, or is this
honestly, I didn't have any condition really that really led me to it, other than the way that I found out about it was when I told the singer, was because I had urinary pain, and I just randomly told him about it, and then he told me to drink the tea because it's used for urinary pain, also as a natural remedy in Mexico. And then I started reading the studies about why. It turns out that it's antibacterial against some of the most frequent causal agents of UTIs. So people have been drinking it for UTIs in Mexico for hundreds of years. And when I drank it, it helped me. And after that, I never really had that again. So I just kept drinking it. But it's not that I have diabetes or a kidney condition. I know that it's good for a bunch of things like inhibiting inflammation, oxidative stress, lipid peroxidation, all these things that are caused by, for example, alcohol or processed food, restaurant food. So whenever I go to a restaurant, maybe I'm a little bit strict or maniacal, some people might think, but I always drink my tea. I always drink the tea before I cheat. So I have that thing where
what do you mean?
Whenever I go, I stray away from my diet. I think that's what I would call cheating.
So you drink
a cheat day
before you cheat, or
Pretty much, yes. Before, during, or after. If I cheat, for example, if I drink alcohol, I know that alcohol causes inflammation in the liver.
Yeah.
It causes lipid peroxidation. It causes oxidative stress in the body. All of that ends up leading to damage in the kidneys, the liver, which are obviously not good for the body. So if you provide the body with polyphenols, a bunch of studies show, not just in Palo Azul tea, but polyphenols polyphenols in general are good for inhibiting inflammation, oxidative stress, lipid peroxidation, all those things. So that's why polyphenols in general are good for Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, kidney health, liver health, and the polyphenols in Palo Azul tea are no different. So that's basically why I drink the tea.
Methylene blue is?
I know, yeah. I got some.
What's the methylene blue, you know?
So I haven't read extensively.
Blue? Are they
I guess it's sort of, I mean, I haven't read too much about methylene blue other than that I saw that, who's the guy from Mel Gibson, and he was talking about it on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how it's apparently used like for cancer, like as a natural treatment kind of thing.
I'm guessing.
I know that it's a blue dye.
Yeah.
And it does make you pee blue. I tried it, and it kind of freaked me out.
Pee blue.
It didn't make you pee blue? It made me pee blue, like a little bit blue, not like super blue, but I thought like that's kind of weird, so I just stopped drinking it.
So I'm sure everyone's wondering now, does this make you pee blue?
This doesn't make you pee blue, unfortunately. I know. So it's not gonna turn your urine into a blue lightsaber like some people might think. It doesn't turn anything in your body blue, technically, because when you drink it, your body is acidic, and the tea, like I mentioned earlier to you, it only turns blue with alkaline water.
Yeah.
So as soon as you drink it, really, like you wouldn't see the blue anymore, even if when you're drinking it, it is blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, that blue color is what studies show gives it all the properties.
Yeah. So let's slow down a little bit. So you're playing in a band, the singer's throat's sore because he's singing.
Kinda, yeah.
He's like, he's drinking this Palo Azul tea, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Mm-hmm. Right? And so then you that's when you started learning about it. And so it sounds like there was a period of time where you were living your life before you said, I'm going to jump into this and become an entrepreneur. What made you want to become an entrepreneur? Just general.
Well, it felt like a calling, just like something that I felt like I just had to do because I was so intrigued by it since the moment that I learned about it. Mm-hmm. So just even before I had the idea to even start a business, like when I was 20, 21, 22, 23, I just was reading about it and drinking it and telling people about it. And people kept asking me because it's visually appealing. So people would always kind of like look at it and ask me, what is it and why is it blue? So then I would explain it to them. And a lot of people would always tell me or ask me things like, how is it possible that nobody knows about this? I've never heard about it, and I love natural remedies and herbal teas, and I've never heard of Palo Azul before. And
Were you in LA?
This was partially in LA. So I lived in LA for a while, and then I moved to Texas. Texas? Austin.
Austin?
I lived in Austin for a little while. The band ended up moving to Austin, so I followed them. So that shows you how committed I was to my music career.
Guitarist?
Guitar.
Lead guitar?
Lead guitar, baby.
He was saying
I told you I shred. I've been shredding for a long time.
I shred too.
And that's like the thing that led me to the tea, but that's what like really I love to do most. So it wasn't like I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It just kind of randomly occurred in my life, and then I thought like a lot of other people I'm sure would love to know that this even exists, and a lot of people would enjoy it, and a lot of people would benefit from it if they discovered this tea, and they would just improve their kidney health or liver health or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking in my head like, probably some other company or some of the other Palo Azul companies are gonna, get it into Whole Foods and promote it. Back when I was like reading about it. No, not yet. Not yet. We're working on it. I saw you have your goals here. The Whole Foods is on there. I get the same thing. Yeah, that's my goal too, dude. Hopefully soon. Yeah. We gotta have the goals in the wall to remind ourselves why we started all.
Packaging looks very professional, feels good quality, and the design looks really nice. Did you do this design, or did you pay someone?
Yeah, so thank you, by the way. And it was me kind of like drawing it. I kind of like drew it out, and then I just gave it to a designer.
You designed this?
Well, I gave the idea to the designer, and then he kind of came up with the details. So I didn't really draw a detailed thing. I kind of just drew the key with the Magiktea, the Palo Azul, and then kind of like light. emanating from the middle like that, like in a kind of like a 360 pattern. And then in the back of that, if you notice, it's got like a, like color is like changing from blue to red in this part. That's basically a picture of Palo Azul tea, the cup.
And same with
So you kind of underlaid it. That's it. That's the cup of tea. You noticed. Well, that was that was a design, and the designer, I just found this guy in Colombia and he did it. And before that, I had 3. Relatively cheap, yeah. Like I had several quotes.
Find people in this way.
Find people. That's honestly, like you can do that for a lot of jobs that you don't necessarily have to have that person right in front of you. This guy does amazing work and he charges a very reasonable price. Juan Arbeláez, if anybody would be interested.
Negative feedback on your packaging on the front?
Yeah, I actually, mostly, like being completely honest.
In here, or what's going on?
There's some sparkles in the packaging because it's PCR packaging, so that happens naturally. So it kind of makes it look a little sparkly.
Does it come on?
Sometimes there's like little pieces that like peel off a little bit. In the beginning, it kind of bothered me a little bit, but now I'm just like, whatever. Like it kind of looks sparkly. I know what you mean. You see the. But that's just because it's PCR packaging, which is post-consumer recycled packaging.
Super sustainable.
It's a better option than like the like a virgin plastic.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys use, but we're trying to use like a compostable. We're trying to switch, but there's like a lot of problems with the packaging from what I've heard.
Has any buyers at a store said anything about your packaging?
So the feedback on the design of the packaging really has been great. Like a lot of people have really told me like a bunch of times. I've heard it a lot of times that people tell me that they love the design, that it just looks magical.
From buyers.
Buyers have told me as well.
Customers or buyers?
Customers and buyers.
Buyers, I'm interested in.
So that has helped honestly to just convince buyers to put it on the shelf in certain occasions.
I will say my negative. And I've heard this too, especially with my brand, YoBe. It's like, what is this? I see Magiktea Palo Azul. Mm-hmm. Okay. But like, and I know it says tea, so I know it's a tea, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like, how many people know what Palo Azul is?
Not many.
Yeah.
That's the idea, I guess, and I have heard that a lot, actually. That is the negative feedback that I get sometimes, that, you should put more information in the front.
Yeah, you have a very great
real
estate on it.
I've thought about it, but I keep reverting back.
Like these little things, like I don't care about biodegradable plant-based. But like you could say alkaline, like no caffeine on the front could be good too.
No caffeine, that's one that would be good.
When I'm looking for tea, I'm like, is this caffeinated tea, not caffeinated? And like having to grab the thing and move it around.
Totally.
Like, and then.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've thought about.
Personally, I'm just shooting the shit because that's what we do here. Like if it said turns liquid blue or something, that's not how I would say it, but if there was something about that on the front. Or even having this image of the beautiful tea on the front somewhere, because then I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, a blue tea? Like, I know this is blue, the package is blue.
But it's not, the picture of the teacup.
It's going to make my thing blue until I grab the back. And then I'm like, life's too short, be magic. And then I see.
That's when you discover the magic.
Yeah.
That's I know. And I've thought about it, but then I try to, and I've tried to arrange it.
It won't look as sexy.
But it doesn't look, it kind of ruins it, honestly. So I like to just keep it looking beautiful. Like I have this idea. I have this idea because like my mom is a designer, so I guess she kind of instilled this in me. But I feel like, why not, if you're gonna make a product, or if you're gonna make something, like make it beautiful, like make it like a piece of like art.
You could have this be that right here, right, and it said Palo Azul over it. You could have this.
Couldn't be.
You could have a beautiful picture of your tea right here. Like for instance, Yobi's.
That's right. I guess that spot's right there is open for
That spot is
change.
ready to go.
That
and
spot
maybe
could be.
The corners could like you could take this little.
Maybe we could, we can always. The good thing about like having small product runs is you can make the change, see what happens, and then just take it back. And if it didn't work out or if you didn't like it, so it could be something that honestly, like I'll make some changes and then just do a product run with that.
Exactly.
And see what happens.
Then you see, hey, is it selling more or not?
Then you can see exactly. You can see just by the numbers.
I guarantee you, your people
And
that
by
love your
feedback
shit
from
are going to
people.
buy it regardless of the packaging's a little bit different. Do you agree?
I agree.
On this?
I agree with you on that.
And so, because that was part of my YoBe's packaging has gone through so many iterations. People didn't know what it was. Now I have what it is too big, and the flavor's not big enough. So like I overcorrected too much, and like now I'm going to be putting images of the fruit or the chocolate so that people when they see it they visually know, oh, that's that flavor.
Right.
Because consumers are stupid. I don't know what Palo Azul is. If I saw another brand without Magiktea, I wouldn't know what Palo Azul is. I know what Magiktea is because I met him in the past. So I know what Magiktea. I'm like, oh, that's the blue tea.
Yeah,
It looks beautiful. There's no question of it. But the question is, does it sell better or not? Because at the end of the day, we're trying to make money. And if we make money, that means our products are going and benefiting people's livers and anti-inflammatory stuff more often. So it actually helps people more, right?
That's right. It does eventually lead to more people consuming it.
I truly believe that if you modify this with your ethos of beautiful stuff, you can do it.
It could be done, yeah. I'm thinking about it right now. As you mentioned that, like that cup could be
right
in
there.
the front,
You could have even
and then people could see right away that that's kind of what I guess it would end up looking like.
Yeah, because if I'm looking at this Palo Azul, I don't know what Palo Azul is. It sounds Hispanic,
exotic.
Right? It's exotic. Definitely is exotic. There's the key, which I kind of like the key. Doesn't really symbolize too much to me, but unlocks health. Right?
Yeah, you have to look deeper into
but you could have like
the company story to know what the key
even the top
is.
Say anti-inflammatory, liver detox. It could have like a little thing at the top.
Right.
There's ways to do it.
At the top also,
where,
exactly.
like you could have, because it's beautiful. Like this part right here is beautiful.
Keep that and then just add, in the bottles is also the other place. In bottles, it just kind of looks. It makes a lot of sense to just have like zero caffeine and the flavor, more text on a bottle. Yeah. So that's the other thing. Like with bottles, I think we'll be able to have more call outs
bottling this
in the front.
Is that your plan?
I mean, I don't know about soon, but that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Like that would be what I mean. That's honestly when I started, that was the dream.
How long does the coloring last in the bottle?
If
it's hermetically sealed.
If it's done the right way, it could potentially last like probably over 6 months.
6 months.
If it's done like all refrigerated, obviously refrigerated, no preservatives, and it would have to be done in an aseptic facility probably.
Aseptic?
Because you probably know a little about that, yeah. Well. From what I've read and from what I've heard,
20,000 units plus.
It's gonna be tough, yeah. That's why, I can't really do it as quickly as I wish I could because of the alkalinity thing. So if you want it to look blue, then it has to be alkaline. So that's why it would require an aseptic co-man to package it without preservatives, so that it can last.
It's just a heat temperature thing. It goes up to 250. It's in these tubes. Ours doesn't. Aseptic isn't. It is an option, but the run rate is so high that it doesn't make sense for me to be, and they don't do it in my pouches.
So you would have to change at least.
It has to be like a Tetra Pak.
Okay.
Use a Tetra Pak, which I don't think. Maybe I'm guessing glass bottle. Like if you had yours, it'd be a glass bottle.
Glass bottle.
Probably glass bottle. it's going to be expensive and heavy and, and stuff. But,
that's the issue, man, you know.
Did you ever do farmers markets?
But it wasn't ever meant to be easy, right? I did a couple of farmers markets.
Yeah, how was that?
It was cool. I mean, I think it wasn't like the best place for it, but you know, I always did make sales at the farmers market, but I made a lot more like in a store. So I just decided to,
Really? I always made more money
because
at the farmers market.
I don't know. I guess like maybe I just didn't go to like some of the right farmers markets. It was more like I did some in Florida when I began.
Florida?
So I started kind of like I mentioned earlier a little bit ago, I kind of, you know, we shifted, but I was in Austin, we began, and then I split with the singer, so we're not partners anymore. So there was a breakup.
The singer and you started this business together.
We started it together, the idea and everything, and then there was so much drama. Yeah. There was just, you know, he wanted to change the name. There was like a lot of fighting. He had this, he wanted to change it because like we were selling it in Mexico, and in Mexico people didn't know what Magiktea was because it's English. So people kept telling him, like friends, to change it to something in Spanish. So he thought of Te amo, which is I love it, exactly, but you know, tea is like a play on words because te is also tea in Spanish. So I love you, but tea is, you know, so it's not a bad name.
It's kind of creative.
It's a cool name, and I told him, like, dude, that's a cool name for a tea brand, but for this tea brand, I think Magiktea is just the name. Like, it's just, it looks magical, and it just has so much room to play with, like the whole mission, the marketing concept that I had kind of like written about was all about, it all revolved about sharing the magic with people. No, we ended up just deciding to split, go our own ways. He had a different vision. And so did I.
Palo Azul tea
and then he kept selling it in Mexico, and then I just kept doing it over here because it still was something.
The Mexico division, but like y'all aren't together.
He kind of stopped selling it in Mexico. I think we just lost contact, but you know. I try to make it work because honestly, like you know, you're a solopreneur also, right? It's a bunch of work, and I wish like he would have, you know, been there to kind of carry some of the weight.
Dude.
But the other issue was like the amount of work that he was putting in comparison to like what, you know, I was dedicating my life to this pretty much. Like I had already quit my job, and it was this 100%, 20 hours a day, pretty much. And at that moment, like he was dedicating 0 hours a day. So it just, you know, led to a lot of frustration and fights, and then, you know, changing the name kind of thing. It was just like the straw that broke the camel's back, and we just split.
Name change. Seriously?
Name change, man. Yeah, it was that important. The website was like all built out and all organized around the idea of sharing magic. Sharing magic with the world. That's what I do every day, my friend. That's what I hope that that's what I hope that people do in their lives as well. Just whatever, you know, gift that they may have found in their path in this life. That's what I envision. This is my vessel to essentially sharing magic with other people, and encouraging others maybe to even do the same and kind of like take that risk and go for it and have a dream and maybe just, you know, think that it could actually be done if you put the work in, if you knock on all the doors you got to knock on, read all the stuff you got to read about, learn all the processes, all the co-packing like you learned about, and then just after a couple of years, maybe, you know, you get some traction, social media starts happening.
Oregon Truth on the back.
Oregon Tilth. That's the organic certifier. See, like I'm a musician. Like I had no idea how to get a product certified organic. This required that little seal.
Is that different than this?
It's the same certifier. So that's
like where
USDA. Like that's a federal seal, and they have like certifiers. So Oregon Tilth is one of the certifiers that can give you the permission to use the USDA seal. And I had 0 clue about how to do that. But see, that's like the thing about sharing the magic for me, is that it motivates me, it drives me to do all these insane, crazy things that I never imagined. Like I would be, you know, with an inspector and like doing all these things of traceability and all this stuff, like figuring out like all the regulations and the laws to have this little seal on the pouch, simply because I believe that having something that is organic is better than having something that is sprayed with pesticides.
Yeah.
So that's why we decided to go with a ranch that is certified organic. It's a little more expensive.
Oh yeah.
So part of the price.
Well, you were willing to put USDA on the front and make it not look good.
I know, but that was the exception. I think it looked prettier before.
Why? Because it sells more?
No, just kidding. I think that's...
Because it would help you sell more, right?
Of course.
And it's a stamp of like, hey...
It's a necessary thing
which is my point.
You got to make some compromises.
If you make a compromise on this green logo, which you know is going to lift your sales.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe, because you're going to see this real soon. It's beautiful. And I think... that's the coolest thing. Health benefits, I agree, great. We like them. But I think the experience of having a blue tea might be above it on the general consumer.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
A lot of people are drawn by the fluorescence.
Like, what do your customers say? Do they say they drink it for the benefits, or do they say just they love having the blue tea?
A lot of people, they just love looking at it. At least the people that post about it on TikTok and stuff, because of
those are the people.
Because of the blue color, really is the reason why TikTok has been better for us. Because people just post about the blue color. They go outside, put it in a glass cup, and it turns blue when it hits the sunlight. So, if it had, if it was some other tea that had the same exact benefits, but it didn't turn blue, or in fact, when people make this tea,
there's other teas that probably have similar.
There's a bunch, but they just aren't fluorescent. The fluorescence just draws you, and it turns out that it's a great segue to educating people about polyphenols, because you see them, and it's like the way to explain the blue is polyphenols.
This business if it didn't turn blue.
Maybe not. Maybe honestly, maybe not.
Yeah.
Because the health impacts that it had on me personally weren't just changed my life.
Yeah.
It did help my grandmother, my father, and my dog with their conditions. And maybe because of that, I would have ended up starting it anyway, but I don't know if I would have. We'll never know.
You never know.
But because of the blue color, definitely it had a big influence in me deciding to start the company. It's literally magical.
Is the blue color
I'm telling
magic?
you, literally, nature is magical. Nature is literally, I think, in my view, magical. When you look at what happens in the bioluminescence in the ocean right here, right in front of where you live, I saw that for the first time 2 months ago or something. People had always asked me, have I ever seen it?
Have you seen it?
Because it's the same thing as this. It's fluorescence, similar. It's bioluminescence. It's a little different.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty similar. So I saw that, and it's like, wow. It's like I'm in a movie like Avatar. This is insane, just like the videos, and I saw it happen right in front of my eyes.
You should go surf it. It moves around, and when you swim, it goes.
And I've heard that when you're in the water, it's even literally people describe it to me like the Avatar movie, you're swimming and there's blue glowy stuff going all over.
It's like a super bloom of algae, and it's got these. It's blooming. Fertilization, it's not good for you.
No, really?
You don't want to drink bioluminescence.
Okay, maybe let's not drink it. We can just swim in it.
Hey, drink this, not the bioluminescence.
Drink the magic.
Bioluminescence. Let's go check out this magic right now.
Alrighty, perfect.
Let's get started.
I imagine the majority of people would never flip it over unless they heard about it or.
That's beautiful. Looks high end. Palo Azul, but they're not gonna Sorry, I'm gonna make sure. I'm timing because I have this podcast, but they're not going to know what the fuck it is. And so I had the same problem with my packaging when I first started. This is beautiful looking, and then this one it says coconut almond protein yogurt smooth right up there, but then it was on the bottom where no one could really read it, and so people were looking at it that looks cool, YoBeAwesome, but they're what is it? It's got some healthy things at the top, but here we have the opposite problem of YoBe, coconut almond protein yogurt. So it's better packaging, but I have found doing demos, which is I think a really important thing to do when you're selling a product, because then you get to see customers interacting with your product. I give them a bunch of flavor, and they're give me the coconut almond flavor. And I'm they're all coconut almond flavored. They're they don't understand what flavor is which, because my statement of the flavor is so big. So I'm going to be putting an image of ube or strawberry on it, so it's
get it in
strawberry, right? But that's part of the beauty of not doing aseptic run and doing small batches, because I can literally learn, because it's really tough starting a business, and I need investors, whatever. We're going to work towards getting investors, but doing the smaller stuff, you get to really fail faster.
Yeah.
I fail faster. I make mistakes faster when it's not me dealing with Costco customers or Whole Foods, where like you have to have big sales. So that's just my thing on this, and that's why I brought this up, because
did you change it due to customer feedback?
When we first started the podcast, I'm like, this is beautiful, beautiful, right? And the listeners probably hear it. And then I started looking at it, and I'm like, but what is it? I know it's Magiktea. I know it's Palo Azul, which I don't know. And you just went off about it, so I kind of have an idea, but I don't understand why I should drink this. Besides, your branding looks great.
Yeah,
but when I go to the back and I see this cup with the blue magic at the top, I'm like, wait, this tea looks different than other tea, right? And you just went off about how people on TikTok are posting, like, the virality of them sharing it to their friends, and their friends being like, what the hell is that, right? And they're like, oh, it's Magiktea.
People want to see the magic. People wonder what makes it blue, and if it actually turns blue. People always like say things like, I wonder if it'll turn blue, like, let's see what happens. And then they put the tea bag in the water, and then sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, depending on the water. So that's, we're working on it.
We'll see what happens with mine. We got some 11 phase.
We're working on the education part, the Palo Azul and all that. But like I said a little bit earlier, I think that the goal is sometimes to just spark that curiosity in people so that they flip it around and then they look at the cup and then they read about it, the little paragraph, the benefits.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot of information, like to explain it all, in the front.
A lot, yeah.
Like you asked me about it, and I said exactly what it is. And even if you just explain it straightforwardly what it is, you got to explain what fluorescent polyphenols are, which is kind of like a lot.
Let's see what happens. Is it working?
Let's see. So you should see it like pretty much right now, because the water is hot. So then you just got to put it in the sun or with a flashlight. You mentioned you used filter. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. It did work. So your water is alkaline enough.
I see.
So if you just let it steep for longer, it'll turn more dark, like a more darker color, like the one you saw when I showed it to you. You see it kind of strengthening as time goes by.
Oh, I see.
And let's see if, like, without my flashlight, I think these lights maybe are just not high energy enough.
Those are soft lights.
You could, if you increase the intensity, maybe. But
the
best way to see it is in the sun. So usually, if you look at videos of people or on Instagram, people just put it in the sun, and that's the best way to see it.
The sun.
The sun.
The sun's good lighting.
The sun is the perfect lighting for it, because high energy light. So just ultraviolet radiation from the sun. That'll make it blue. The phone's flashlight works as well, but
your flashlight's powerful, more powerful than mine.
I think you just have to go all the intensity. Like, you can do it this way.
My flashlight going.
See, you can either turn it on by itself.
I'm on low.
There you go. Increase the intensity.
I mean, I can kind of see it for sure, like right there.
From the top, it's a little easier to see, so get it closer.
Okay.
There it is.
There you are.
There's the magic.
That's magic, dude.
When you put that in your body,
you can see it on the camera.
That heals the body. According to studies, those fluorescent nutrients, the tea basically, or the tree uses those nutrients as a shield to defend itself from excessive ultraviolet radiation. So that's why it absorbs high energy light.
Does this have anything to do with all the fires and the blue roofs? Do you know about this?
I was thinking about that, and I was wondering, like, what is it about that? I mean, I'm guessing it's
fires in LA.
The frequency of it.
And blue things didn't burn.
Yeah, I've seen the picture.
Out there, I am a conspiracy theorist. I'm not trying to promote it.
You've seen all about the directed energy weapons.
There's like supposedly a direct energy laser blue.
I've seen the videos. It's hard to, when you see.
Biden? There's a guy asking Biden about it, and Biden's like, yeah, he's like, did you see some of the blue roofs? He's like, yeah, we have to do something about it.
Yeah, we gotta get
He
those
was like,
blue
"You gotta
roofs
get rid of
down
these blue
also.
roofs. We don't want
Take them
people to
down
know."
also. Take them out. We gotta
you see
figure out
that?
how to fix the
Did you see that?
I didn't see that actually, but
Biden, our president.
but it doesn't
has
surprise me that that's something that
yesterday.
he would say. Like
Someone was talking to him about it, and he was like agreeing that they had to get rid of the evidence that the blues didn't burn.
I gotta watch
Which
that.
is-
I'm sure like he meant it in a different way, but
that's what he said. I'm
Yeah,
not saying that it's a psyop, but
it's a curious thing because you would think that if they have the technologies to do all this stuff that they'd be able to fix the weapon so that it can take down blue houses or blue cars or blue trash bins.
Yeah.
But I guess there's just like a flaw in the machine right now. They gotta fix it.
inflammatory blue.
They gotta fix their Death Star or whatever they got going on where they're shooting those lasers from.
So anyway, I met Julian demoing at an air one at Studio City, which is the worst air one to demo at.
For real? For you, really? Dude, that's like my best, actually, I think. Either that one or Calabasas, but that's one of the best. But I understand why.
How many have you done, dude?
'Cause you're outside?
I've done more demos at Air On than anyone ever. They all know me.
Let's see. How many have you done? I've done in everyone probably 100.
I've done at least.
You've done about 100 in everyone. I did about 100.
What did you when they raised their price?
At this
how
point.
did you feel about it?
At that point, I stopped doing them
I did too.
until the time that you. Oh wait, no, you didn't see me this past month. I was there in December. You did too?
They used to be $30.
Bro, 30 is enough.
30 is too high.
Like 30 is
They
crazy.
should be free.
We are helping them.
We are selling product
It's
and this brand called
ridiculous.
Erewhon, which is the Lamborghini dealership of grocery stores, makes vendors, us, pay to go sell more of the product.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it works.
Like I have to
And
sell 30 units
stand
to, like,
there.
make it up when it's $30. When it's 50, I have to sell like 50 units, which is like basically impossible.
Yeah, you never break. It's like you barely ever break even. You barely ever make money when you do the demo itself. But it's like you have to because you need to keep your place in the shelf. So it's like in the beginning, at least, like it's just a necessary expense of getting into a store like that. And I'm sure it'll be similar, with Whole Foods and Sprouts.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you probably have to pay in Whole Foods
Your
Sprouts.
product and my products are similar and dissimilar in a lot of ways. Your product is shelf stable but ambient, and this, when it's nitrogen flushed and sealed in here, it's like good for a year. So you're once it gets to the distributor, you're not in a race to sell it. You are like everybody, but like you're not like, oh my god,
pressed.
you're not as worried about spoilage fees. I'm worried about spoilage because mine's 3 months, and it's like a lot more.
Yeah, you gotta show up.
So, but I just had a ADD blank. But
We're talking
I have found that demos have been very useful. For one, like we were talking about earlier, about getting feedback on my packaging, my product, and finding out what customers like about it, don't like about it, because I get that instantaneously. And I did the farmers markets, bro, and I think farmers markets could benefit you, but I mean, it's a lot of work. It's
You
like,
still do them?
No, I stopped like 2 months into Air One, and but that's why I know a lot about packaging. It's also because have you ever hired a broker?
No.
Yeah, I hired brokers to help me sell my product to stores, and they lost me -7. I'm still paying them after.
No way, really.
I paid them like $50,000, and they did not come through. But they did help me understand that I did need to like change my packaging. They never got good feedback because they never presented my information right to people, which is frustrating when you spend that much money. But my experience doing that has led me to be more savvy and understand why I think having this beautiful blue cup on the front would benefit your brand, because then people know exactly what the hell is going on.
Yeah, true.
And so
That's gonna be
I did on my packaging
a change that we actually probably end up making now that I'm just letting the idea percolate in the head.
I also say tag us in a pic of you with this pouch for a free Yobi.
I noticed. I saw your packaging.
I don't know if it's illegal or whatever, but until they tell me.
I don't think there's an issue with that.
I don't care, but
giving out free product to people for tagging you.
Like for you, that would be great.
Yeah, I have a little thing like that also, but there's a lot of information in the back, so it's like right there.
What's it say?
It doesn't offer a free product.
I would offer free shit.
That's a good idea.
Or just I say free pouch, but what I do is I give us a $10 discount. Just discount online.
And have people like claim them, like they tag you on Instagram and then you
I would
DM
say
them, or
it has not been as effective as I would like.
for me either. That it hasn't really been as effective to have that little tag.
But at the same time, I'm new. I think at some point there might be like people are gonna figure it out. I still haven't made a video about it. I do need to make a video being like, hey, like this is on the back. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
we
gotta try it. We gotta at least ask. We gotta make the asks so that there's gonna be like maybe 1% of our customers who look at it and they actually will share it.
Yeah.
And those are your super fans. Like if we get several people that actually do that,
free shit, I don't really
then
care.
they feel. I mean, I think like a lot of people, they feel like some sort of like teamwork aspect to it when they're helping you share a local product. If they met you, like I'm sure a lot of your customers, they know you're the founder.
So let's be honest. Is my water just not alkaline enough?
It is, but we just need light.
Do you think the light's
I can see it even here because of this light. It's just super dim. So you got to put it in, like I mentioned, the sun or with a flashlight. But right now it'll look a lot more blue when you see it on the flashlight.
Holy shit.
That's it, my friend. I told you. So your water is alkaline enough.
You like the outside one. That's why you like Studio. So Studio City, I don't like because you're outside. The sun is blasting you.
Yeah. And
then you have to walk your customers to the store, which I like walking people to my location every single time. But for you, it probably works because the polyphenols are bright.
They look super blue. When I'm outside, it looks the best.
That's why you like it.
That's why Studio City has been one of the best, because you have to be outside in that one. In the other stores, sometimes I ask.
There's actual rays of light.
Yeah, pretty much, because there's sunlight. Because I set up outside, so normally when I have like my glass cup, I'll shine with the flashlight to show people.
It tastes pretty good.
In Studio City, I'm just out there and the sun is just turning it blue.
There's no sugar in it, right?
Nothing else is added.
It tastes sweet.
It has a slight sweetness from the tree sap. So just like maple syrup, comes from a tree, like there's something in the sap of the tree that gives it a subtle sweetness. Yeah. So it's super mild. You taste it probably because you're sensitive to sweetness, because you look like you're a healthy dude. You don't drink a bunch of processed food and sugar and stuff like that. So that's the case with me also. So I taste it as sweet.
Taste it sweet.
But a lot of people, they don't taste the sweetness, maybe because their taste buds are just shot from drinking so many processed drinks.
It tastes sweet to me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. That's why I've been drinking it for so long. The flavor is not bad at all. It's got all these benefits. It turns blue.
Honey already.
All those reasons put together is why I decided to share it with people. To me, it was crazy. Like I thought in my head, like it's crazy that people don't know about it. So that's why I felt like I had to share it.
On this too, to say there's sweet tones from the tree sap.
The thing is, I refrain from saying that because I know a lot of people don't taste it.
And you don't have to put nutritional label on this?
Technically, no, because there's no calories. There's like no real sugar, no vitamins, not a significant amount of like minerals. What it has is polyphenols, which isn't on any nutritional label. So if it had maybe like a bunch of vitamin C or something, then you would have to, I guess, put a nutritional label to put that it has maybe 10% vitamin C or something of your daily intake. But
do you think if we poured yours from your jar in, it'll be more blue?
Maybe, because this one is already pre-brewed and it's looking pretty blue, I think. I mean, I saw it a little bit ago.
I'm going to get a cup.
You want to compare?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes these cameras So
I'm kind of cynical and I always like to double check my work. So I went to grab like a Sleepy Time Celestial tea. Yeah, there's no nutritional facts on this. So it's like, I guess tea doesn't have to.
It depends. Like if it has sugar added or certain like minerals or vitamins, then you can or you should have a nutritional label. But in this case, it's probably just a herbal tea. As you can see, it's chamomile. Nothing else is really added to it. So chamomile by itself is just 0 calories, 0 sugar. So you can get by without having a nutritional label on certain products if that's the case. It's usually like herbal teas or just loose tea.
We're going to try his version and see if it's more blue. I think it is.
It's a little darker, yeah, because I already pre-brewed it, and that one is just...
oh, it's blue.
Yeah, you can see it more, huh?
It's the same thing.
Now let's put
But maybe yours
flashlight
has,
on it. It'll be more deep blue, you'll see.
Oh my God.
I told you.
Can y'all see that?
That's it.
Here,
it was like a blue lightsaber, literally, right?
You hold this.
Hold it.
I'm gonna get the light in this. Look at this. Can we see it? Or is this...
Maybe not with that light, because that's just not high energy enough.
You can see the blue, dude. You can see the blue, dude. And
Yeah.
it had that blue background too. Oh, look at that.
Watch out.
That's that blue magic, dude. There you go.
There it is, man.
All right, cool. Yeah, but yours.
See, usually I just show it like that, but when you're out in the sun, it looks honestly even better. Like I think it looks even cooler when you're just out in the sun. So I used to do a bunch of demos. Like what I would do in the beginning is I would just tell the store owner, like, just if I can set up outside, I'll sell the product for free for you on consignment, and just let me do a demo out here, and the tea turns blue in the light. I can just tell your customers about it. It's a healthy, usually it was like healthy food shops in the beginning, healthy stores, like local. Yeah. And so they were open to it, a lot of them, and that's how it began. Just knocking doors pretty much, and then offering to tell their customers about it, educate. And then show it to people, show the fluorescence, and outside just happened to be perfect. Yeah. Because a lot of stores, maybe they're tiny and they don't want you.
Stores have very powerful lights inside their.
Some stores, it looks blue inside, so it works out great. But a lot of stores, it doesn't really look blue inside unless I shine it with a flashlight.
We shoot the shit here. Part of me is thinking, dude, you pre-bake this and put it in a glass jar. So when people are walking by the aisle, they see the blue tea and they see it shimmer. Mm-hmm. A lot more work. A lot more work.
You mean like this one that I poured in here?
Like...
Or...
Yeah, like if you had a GT kombucha style cup or bottle, right? Uh-huh. And then it was just in the aisle, when you're walking by it, you'd probably see the blue polyphenols, right?
Well, that's the goal. That's the idea.
That's like what you want to take this business?
That's why in the beginning, really, I wanted to do bottles. I didn't really want to start with loose tea and tea bags, because I knew that, I thought, like, the best way to educate people about the tea is really to put it in a bottle and give it to them already made. Because the problem with, you got to figure out the water, how much to boil it, what quantity to put in there.
The right alkaline.
So there's just a bunch of things to it. But if you just give it to people already pre-made in a bottle, already looking blue, then I always thought that would be the best way to get, the masses to really discover this tea. So that's how I wanted to begin, but obviously it requires so much capital that it was too tough to begin that way. So I decided to just, start taking small steps. So just started with something that I could handle, which was the loose tea. And at that, I could just pretty much package myself. Like I read about the cottage law, like you...
Did you look it up?
Yeah. So I think I had vaguely heard of it. But
was that
pretty much it says that for certain foods or products that are shelf stable or are generally considered like safe and not prone to bacteria, like yogurt maybe or milk or things like that, I think in certain scenarios, like you can just pretty much make your own cookies at home and then sell them.
Yeah, that's how most farmers markets are under cottage law, but they generally, if they get to enough scale, they have their own commissary kitchen because it's just a lot easier. Like, you don't want to clean your apartment every day.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would say that your brand falls under cottage law that's why I asked you to look it up. Do you think it does?
It would, and it does technically. But I ended up, shifting to co-packer because...
I think even if you were bottling it into bottles, you'd still be under cottage law.
I've thought about doing that, like, to start small scale. So before, honestly, that's going to be pretty much part of the plan. Like, before I actually know that I can do it at mass, that I can actually, make this thing stay blue, alkaline, shelf stable, relatively aseptic, whatever, the formula is going to be. Once I know that it can be done, then I can be, like, at least safe in knowing that, if I sell this to people by making it in my home, that I'm going to come out with the mass-produced version and I can fulfill. Yeah. But in the beginning, when I have, like, I'm just testing it out, I can basically just go to a couple stores and then just start promoting it that way, see what happens. And then once I have, like, feedback from people, then I can make and pull the trigger and do a big run. So that would be the way to, launch that. Yeah. Test it out first, see what people think about it.
Sell a bunch of these to get to that level. At some point, you're going to have to start selling the bottles. I think you're there.
I think...
How many stores are you in? Let's talk about that.
Last I saw, it's like 430-ish.
You're at 430 stores?
It's like 400,
How did you get
433.
430 stores?
So initially I started in Florida when I started actually selling the product into stores.
Yeah.
And basically just knocking doors like I mentioned earlier. Knocking doors, showing people the product, giving them maybe a free sample for them to try, showing them the blue color, telling them what it is. A lot of times I would offer a free product like on consignment, and I would offer a demo. So I would just show up at a...
Free fill.
Yeah, if it was necessary. Like a lot of times it didn't, it wasn't necessary, so I would just sell them the product, and that was the ideal situation, right? And then I would just show up a bunch of times, and if it was the right clientele...
Do you sell these in a case, like a master case?
So it comes in a case of 6.
So 6.
Initially,
you have a
it was like...
box for it?
It's just a generic box, really. Like I used to have like cardboard? I used to have like with the logo printed and everything. Yeah. But man, honestly, like... I don't know if that's so necessary, and the margins honestly like aren't there for me to spend that much more money. It's like 5 times more money on a box that's branded.
How big is your box? I would say it's like that big.
For the 6-unit case, it's like this. It's like 8 by 8 by 4.
8 by 8
like
by 4.
That. Those boxes we didn't have with the branding. It was just the initial boxes, which were like 12-unit cases.
That was for 12 units.
And that was like a 10 by 8 by 6. 10 by 8 by 6 or so.
These are numbers, box sizes. These are things that when you start making tea, you never are thinking about.
No, people don't really, know what goes behind it all. But
my
that's
delay on Unify is because I switched from 8 inner cases in a master case to 12.
You went from 6 to 12.
I went from 8 to 12.
And they didn't like that?
Well, it's just... they want Unify, KE, anytime you change anything, it's like a 3-month process.
They want to have the smallest kind of... We used to have 12-unit cases, and then they wanted us to switch to 6-unit cases.
I had 12 inner cases. Like, you know what inner case is?
What?
You're selling cases, you have 1 case size. 1 case size
pretty much for...
So I had like 12 units per case. And so... that was an inner case. So you go to a store at Air One, there'd be 12 YoBes, right?
In one
case. Then I switched to 6 per case because of my shelf life problems or like benefits depending on healthy, like whoever, We wanted to go to 6 because that means I can make smaller batches. That means the store has 6 units to sell instead of 12 units. Like selling 12 units, that's...
of the same flavor.
Need to sell it, it needs to sell fast to make it make sense, right?
Yeah.
With your product, it's not as much of an issue, but stores don't want to buy 12 of something.
They just don't want to have backstock. They don't want to have product overflowing.
And when it gets to 1, they buy it again. So that makes sense.
Yeah, they don't want to overfill the shelves. They just want to have as least amount possible. That's why we had to go from 12 to 6.
Yeah.
Lassens actually was a store that they literally said, like, if you go from 12 to 6, we'll bring you in. So that's when I just...
Are you in Lassens?
Yeah.
How's it going there?
Lassens it's pretty good, actually. So it's not like our best, but it's like top 4 chains.
What's your best?
Dude, the best chain that we have is Clark's Nutrition. And that's 3 stores now.
Clark's?
You know Clark's Nutrition?
They said yes to me.
Well,
we're gonna start selling.
I think your product would do good there. There's a lot of people there who are like super like healthy oriented, like a lot of vegans there.
Really?
Dude, once you go, I'll give you the dates.
Linda, Riverside, right?
I'll give you the dates of the days where you should go, because there's certain days where they have like a B12 shot person. Maybe they even told you about this. And she sets up, and people form a line of like sometimes even like 30 people waiting to get a B12 shot, because a lot of vegans they want the B12. And in general, a lot of people just want the B12 shot because they feel better when they do it. So on that day, it gets packed, and that's when all the demo people go to those stores. And in those stores, they have decent margins. So our product there, when it's on a TPR, it's like $6 and $7 ish, sort of like for the loose tea and the tea bags. So they fly over there. So that store is just 3 locations, but the people are super into it. They love the fluorescence, the polyphenols, the benefits, etc. So that's our best chain.
Really?
And after that,
good. I was literally talking about, because I'm going to San Diego tomorrow to like do formulation for the next phase of YoBe. Stay tuned. And I was going to go to stores and I was talking to some guy in those little stores. I'm like looking up Clark's again, and then I saw it was like in Loma, London, Riverside. I'm like, oh, like it's a
little far. I know.
It doesn't seem like the right customer base for us, but it sounds like they're bringing in really cool products. They have great customer base.
I would say try it out.
I think if people
and go
like
a couple
days,
you
blue things, then like they're gonna like healthy YoBes.
Yeah,
right?
that's why I think like our products are different in many ways, but they are similar in that sense that they are like a healthy version of something else, a healthy alternative.
You got way more magic than I do.
No, I think your product has a lot of magic too. You can't. Don't put yourself down.
We just got protein, you know.
No, I love the be YoBeAwesome, like the message, which is be awesome. It's like on my pouch it says be magic.
Be magic,
so it's a little similar in that sense. And
be magic.
It's like an action. It's like
we're gonna make a Palo
call to action kind of thing.
Palo Azul flavored YoBe.
A Palo Azul flavor, one that glows blue.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Well, this is awesome, dude. And I really, I remember meeting you. You were crushing at that demo. And then, so I saw him at Bristol because we just did a Bristol launch. And he was just there. And then I'm like, I need to get him on the podcast. And then within 1 week, you're here. I mean, let's go into like, what is something, tell us a time where you made a big mistake that you regretted in your business.
I can think of a couple. One that I think was probably the worst thing was, when you mentioned to me like how much money I've put into the business, like I wish I would have worked more and saved up more before I jumped fully into it, because then I was kind of, I didn't know exactly how much. I had no idea how expensive it was going to be. So
was it expensive?
It was, for me, it was more expensive than I thought it would be. And
You're the first person I've ever heard say that.
For real?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I thought you were.
I'm fucking around.
But who knows, sometimes. Yeah, it's a lot more than you would imagine. So when I thought like, I could probably do this with like around maybe 30K or something, I was wrong. So I ended up having to resort to family. And I wish that I would have, if I could go back, like I wish I would have just worked like a year or two in something else and then just gone into it with like a lot of my own money saved up.
So does your family have equity in it?
Yeah.
Nice.
They have about like 12% of the 12%? Company, which I don't mind at all. Like that's not the issue. It's more like I would have rathered to not have to put them in the position where now they maybe have to, or they feel like they gotta help me out, because sometimes like I just need money or to keep the company going pretty much, because maybe distributors are paying late or something like that.
Well, are you net
which
45?
Is usually
are you net 45 or net 30?
Net 45 with some, net 60 with others.
Net 60.
Net 60, man, like.
So
this is the game.
If you
gotta survive.
Net 45, net 60 it means when you give them product and then they sell it, if they do, it takes 45 days.
Yeah, and on top of that, they all require you to spend thousands of dollars every quarter on promotional TPR. There's always so many things you
demos.
You gotta pay to do demos. There's all these things that you have to pay for. Shelf placement fees, all these things. So it's tough to do it in the beginning, even if you're making good sales and your product is good. In the beginning, you just need a lot of cushion. So I would say, like, if I could go back, that's a big mistake. But like a specific mistake that I made one time,
let's finish this conversation about this, because this is a key point that I think food entrepreneurs need to know. It's like, I think every entrepreneur starting a business underestimates how much money they're going to need. Like I went to MBA, like that's part of what we do, but like you never, like there's so many times, like I'm dealing with some pouch issues, like I might have to spend more money on new pouches, like you're like even running your business every day to day, sometimes something comes up and you're going to have to spend another 12K or whatever, right? And like, to be an Air One, you got 2 SKUs, he probably paid 6K to be in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, who would have thought, oh shit, I got to pay money, and then and I got to get free fills, I got to give 6 units because my box is 6 free YoBes for each SKU. Like, there's all these things, and then it's, money is so hard to come by in the food industry because no one's going to give it to you until like you've proven yourself to a degree. I mean, I had people wanting to invest early, and I always said no because luckily I have a situation because I had some money saved. and I didn't have I've spent hundreds of thousands on Yobi.
Yeah, and you've spent
Like,
a lot more than me.
Crazy amounts, and I'm like gonna spend more, and like you have to be a little crazy to keep going, in my opinion. But no, everyone underestimates how much money you're gonna spend. But at the same time, the opposite side I want to say about this is that because I didn't raise all that money, I had to be more nimble. I had to do smaller things. I had to figure out how to, like, my packaging costs less than his, and my packaging is way more advanced. I had to figure out how to find the cheapest packaging. Like, I used to have an American guy make my boxes. Now it's Chinese. Sorry, China makes good quality stuff sometimes. Like, no hating on China, but like, because I didn't have that much money, I had to figure out how to do more with less. And I think from a business ethos of when I do have funding, it's going to make us more successful because I've had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? People that have a bunch of money, they go big and they fail fast. And I think that's part of the food industry, and this is a theory I have. It's a hypothesis that it's not always the most successful in the beginning that make it. I mean, obviously that helps, but I think it's like if you stay around long enough and you learn and you keep iterating and keep improving, you have a better chance of making it. Right?
Totally.
Like it's like literally putting the Azul thing in the front might lift your product 2x, and that could change your whole business. And just like me, like with my new packaging, like we've seen this, and another interesting thing, just surviving and having enough capital to continue to survive is like we changed our category from yogurt, because we're not calling them yogurts, to smoothies, and we just moved all our product in Erewhon from the yogurt fridges to the refrigerated protein last week, and our sales went up 2x with no demos.
Damn.
So like I wouldn't know that if I didn't survive, right? And so part of the surviving and talking to customers and figuring out how they use the product and seeing like what they actually use it for. People don't eat my product because it's like a yogurt tasting thing. They eat the product because it has protein. So putting it in a spot where people are looking for protein is interesting. And that's whatever. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Yeah, no,
that's another thing about yours. I don't know if people are drinking yours. I think more people are drinking yours for the one, it tastes good. Two, is that blue thing. Yeah. So maybe it's not even like in the tea aisle. Like maybe you're next to the GT kombucha where people are like, "Here's my Erewhon drink," and they show it. Like that's maybe where you would do the best.
And I've actually been thinking about that. We're gonna get moved to the natural living section, basically the supplement section. So where you would find, like, that's my next move. Once we get the loose tea in Erewhon, I'm gonna ask them to move us to that section because it just makes a lot more sense. Because there's people consume like in the tea section mostly like for flavor maybe, or like exotic teas and stuff like that. But this is really mostly like for health benefits. So they have told me like a lot in the Erewhons, the natural living managers, like we could sell this a lot better in this section rather than in the tea section.
Yeah, you never know where your product is. Well, I'm selling in Bristol Farms in the natural living department. We're doing good. I don't think it's the long-term spot, but they said yes to us. So now I have to deal with all corporate Bristol Farms through the natural living. There's like, I guess they don't, whatever. It's something I'm figuring out, but...
So you're in 7 of the Bristles or something?
I'm only in 7, dude. How many are you in?
Me too, 7.
So you're with Darren and them.
Yeah, natural living also.
Yeah, but they have...
Although now they're changing it.
They have natural living departments in all the stores.
But they're small in some of the stores.
You don't need the cooler.
From what I hear.
I have a cooler. I have to be in a cooler, so I'm only...
They're always making changes. Like now the tea section apparently belongs to grocery. So we're getting moved. So now when I show up to a Bristol, they tell me like, I don't know. Like the natural living managers don't know if they have stock of my product in the back. I gotta go to the grocery manager now.
Yeah. Were you calling the Bristol Farms people to see if your product's in stock before you show up?
Sometimes I do that, yeah. Do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, after I do it to places that are far away.
Did they make you wait forever?
Of course.
It's the worst.
And then you gotta listen to the music and that they put in the holding.
People are awesome. When you go in there, get the cell phone of the guy and just text him, "Hey, we got stuff in stock."
Okay. That's a good idea.
Hey, tell me when we're back in stock. I'll come and do a demo, and then they'll send me a picture and I'll go.
Okay.
We've been in Bristol for like 3 weeks now. Like,
wow, and you already got the dude's number and everything.
Dude, I got issues. My problem is my distributor, who won't be long. By the time this is out, I'm gonna be gone. Like, but Unify will be there every other day. So if they're out of stock, Unify the next day is gonna put it in. But my current distributor has been taking 2 weeks to restock. That means no money
who
for
is
Bristol. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's someone. I'm not trying to talk shit on the internet or whatever.
Right.
It's not Unified, which I'm sure in a couple months I will have plenty of bad things to say about them. And they're corporate and huge and whatever. I don't talk shit. But the other people were an independent distributor who took a shot at me. I really like them. They really helped me out, and they've been there for me. They've given me decent advice. But they got other priorities than me.
They at least believed in you to, help you out.
Yes.
But sometimes maybe it's just not a right fit for what they do.
I'm not growing them, dude.
Okay.
I don't want to be managing their delivery system. I have other issues to solve.
True, yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
Like my package,
in the beginning,
which I'm changing again.
Oh, you're doing another change?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I'm always making changes, but it's mostly in the back.
All right.
The front stays.
What's the other thing you want to say? We got. What were you gonna say about the packaging before I cut you off?
That usually when I make changes, it's mostly in the back, but the front has pretty much stayed the same since the beginning.
The front did.
I know, bro. I've been thinking about it, and I've been.
We don't. You don't make the decision.
You're not the first person to tell me.
But like this cup on the back looks beautiful, and if it was in the front with the Palo outside just above it, like I'm like, whoa. Anyways.
I hope that once we make that change, a lot more people will be inclined to, look at it and try it out.
There's nothing, because
that's the goal.
Lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even with that cup on the front, I think I would put more benefits on the front, but let's not talk about packaging too much. So what was the other mistake you made starting this business? Besides not have enough money, which everyone has that.
Yeah, one dumb mistake that I made was one time, like I was asked by this 3PL, do you want to insure this shipment? And in my head I thought it's already kind of expensive enough, because it was a huge order going to a company called Goddess Provisions, which is like a subscription box. So I sent them 10,000 units, little free sample pouches.
10,000?
Which they purchased, so it wasn't free, which was awesome. Like a smaller version of that, exactly.
Okay.
And it all went on a huge pallet, and they asked me if I wanted to insure it, and I said no. And then the next day, I shipped it, put it in the truck, and then I get a call, and they're like, we lost the pallet. And I'm thinking in my head, how the hell do you lose a pallet with 10 boxes, 10 huge boxes stacked up to 10 feet tall or something? And I'm just freaking out, and we have a deadline, the product has to arrive to the Goddess Provisions headquarters before a certain day. And we were already backtracked, because those little sample pouches, I had to do them by hand, pretty much. I got a sealer from the co-packer. That was a whole story, because the co-packer said they could do it, but then it ended up that they couldn't put them in the pouches because they were too small or something. So the guy told me I can ship you this sealer that we have that we're not using, and you can do it by hand. So pretty much I had to package 10,000 little thingies, put 2 tea bags in a thing. 2 times? What do you mean?
After the pallet's gone, what did you do?
Oh, I kept thinking in my head, what was going in my head was, I can't believe that, about, I don't know, 100 hours of me standing there, boom, sealing, putting the things, sealing, putting the things, sealing, put them in a box. And I was all that time is just wasted now, because I didn't, do this right. I skimped out on some money just because of the insurance or whatever. Yeah. And now all of that is gone. In my head, I'm thinking, I can't believe I just lost a whole pallet of product. I'm screwed. But then after a couple of days, they were able to find it, and it was just a bunch of stress and me calling to all the terminals, trying to figure out in what terminal they dropped it off. It was with the.
Did you find it, or did they find it?
It was them, with the help of the guy that booked the shipment for me. So we ended up just calling each other a bunch, trying to figure it all out. So we were both kind of contacting the receptionists of the terminals to figure out where this pallet went. Eventually, they found it. But to me, that told me, whenever you're shipping something that's that valuable, that important, paying a couple extra bucks for like insurance or making sure that you go with a good quality 3PL, that you're not just, you know, using the cheapest one. Like, don't use just the cheapest one ever, because they're cheap. They're the cheapest one for a reason, because they either break stuff, lose stuff. So that's what ends up happening when you try to get in Colombia. They have this saying, lo barato sale caro. The cheap ends up coming out more expensive.
Yeah.
So it ended up, you know, working out in that scenario. But a lot of times for the purpose of saving money with something, you skimp out, and then it comes out to be more expensive. So that was one mistake that I think I made, which thankfully we were able to fix. But it was a lot of headaches.
I've made that same mistake. Like for instance, my newest pouch iteration, they came and they're all, some people, if you're like they're fraying.
I remember you showed me.
Right?
So what was the mistake there?
I asked them, I'm like, yo, I want my money back. They're like, we'll make you free ones. And I'm like, just spare shipping. I'm like, okay. And then an hour later, I said, hey, before you print it, I'd like to submit a new design, because I'm always iterating my design. And they're like, oh, we already printed it. Within 1 hour. I'm like, dude, you're a liar. Basically, my buddy in China, who does a lot of deals in China, is like, look, once you catch them lying about things, they're always lying. And this is not the first time they've sent me bad product. But I keep going back because I'm a drug addict.
Because of the price.
I want to save money.
See?
And there's not that many options, and I've dealt with so many. That's China. China's hard to deal with. It's hard to find good people, and I'm digitally printing them. I'm sure yours is digitally printed.
Digitally printed, yeah.
You're not doing the...
They're digitally printed.
Rotogravure? You know what rotogravure is?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Rotogravure, you're going to get cheap. But
you need high volumes.
I've done it before, and you get really high quality product for really cheap. And you can always print it, but they basically make these... they're like big, long bearings. There's 7 of them that have different color codes on them, and so you can't change them. Like, once they're made, they're like printed on these things.
Yeah, you kind of have to
roll it through. The fixed cost of setting up is high, but the variable cost is really low. So once you know your product pouch is like perfect, this is what you do. But I used to do it when I first launched an Air one, which was great. But my packaging was wrong.
So
I don't like doing rotogravure right now, because I know that I'm going to keep changing my packaging until we're in like a Whole Foods or something. When we go into Whole Foods, it's like we'll do rotogravure where I'm not worried about quality. And then when I need stuff that's fast, but
yeah, that's that trade-off.
But that's true. I tell my buddy, like, I used to sell real estate, and sometimes people talk to me about it. And Jerry Jones, the owner of Cowboys, it's like, you never regret overpaying for something you like that you know is quality. Like, you won't. Like, if you pay an extra 5%, it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the trade-off that you have to decide to make. Like, you can go for the cheap pouches, but if you have unreliable partners, then it's not worth all the, money that you save, maybe.
They've been sending me stuff right now.
Thankfully for me, we've had, even though they're more expensive than I would like, at least they've been reliable and they've been quality. So that's why I've stayed with them for now. So
I still think I could save you a lot of money.
I'm sure.
Your product does not go through as much physical dynamics, inertia as mine do.
It should be a lot cheaper than what we have now.
The product goes in here at 70 degrees, and it stays 70 degrees the entire time. And the friction that's on this is not like mine. Mine goes through a lot, like 140 degrees going in there Fahrenheit.
You gotta pasteurize it
past to like 30 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit. It goes from like 30 degrees Celsius to like 0 degrees Celsius. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of shock.
Yeah.
And they're in bags of, I'll show you the bags later.
For shelf life, huh?
Anyways, is there anything you want to talk about? I mean, let's end this up. I'm kind of tired. It's like almost 8. We've been talking for an hour and a half.
Well, I guess I would just ask you, because I can see that you are super dedicated, like me, like you are, pouring your entire life into this thing, and I can see that you're not gonna stop. Like, you're gonna make this. I see your poster here with the goals and everything, and that's me. Like, I have all these goals also, thousands of stores, Whole Foods, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd just like to ask you, like, what is it about, Yobi that makes you so passionate about it? or that you felt like you had to do this?
Dude, I even talked to my buddy today about if I should stop or not. Like, I ask myself this question all the time. And, like, you know, my dad, you know, he disperses some of my savings from my family in the past. And he's like, dude, you're burning your money fast. And I'm burning it fast. And it's like, how do you balance burning money fast when you're not making, like, are you profitable?
Barely.
Yeah,
but
I'm not profitable.
Thankfully, yeah.
But, like, you're in 400 stores. I'm in 40. Not even, maybe. I don't know. Somewhere around there. Like, I think you have to be in 1,000 stores to make money. Right?
Yeah, I mean, even though we're profitable now, like it's only the beginning. Like it sometimes feels like, you know, it's a lot and it's a lot of progress, and yes, it is. But there's so much left to cover. There's just too much in this game. Like it's a thing that takes about 7 years really to build a company that's gonna be long-standing, that, you know, will be on the shelves of thousands of stores and people will just buy it without you having to set up and do the demo thing always, right? To like your product will be I think of its own, like it won't be dependent on you or me. So I think to get to that point, like you do need like 7 years, 5 to 7 years to, you know, especially if you're on your own and if you don't have like a VC backing you or investors backing you. Like I think after that point, it's like provable to other people that it's going to be successful. And then at that point, maybe you can get a VC and just do the same thing you've been doing and then just expand it.
But you asked me what keeps me going.
What keeps you going?
Yeah, I mean,
what makes you willing to go through that 7 years or 5 years,
or
or whatever it may be?
Money, not being able to take girls on dates. Like, I mean, maybe if you're worthy, you'll figure it out. But like, it's tough, right?
It's hell.
It's kind of a hell and heaven at the same time. You look at your cash flow going out, not coming in, and at the same time you see a customer love your fucking product. And like when I see a customer love it, or like when I'm demoing and someone's like, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram." I'm like, "Did you meet me?" They're like, "No, I love your product." I'm like,
"That's sick."
I'm like, "Fucking yeah!" Like, they're like, "Oh, I already buy your thing." I'm like, "Why do you buy it?" And I find out why. And for me, I think all entrepreneurs. I said that weird, right? All entrepreneurs have a vision, right? You have to have a vision, right? You can't just, I mean, sometimes, but you generally have a vision of where you're going, right? And my vision of where I'm going is not, like, my vision is being in every, like, a majority of big Fortune 500 offices, gyms, all around the world, like yoga studios where I'm not in a fridge and it's just there. You know, like, that's the vision, and I want to get to that, right? I'm going to San Diego to work on the shelf-stable version tomorrow. Like, do you want to try some of the samples?
Totally, yeah.
Okay, after we do this.
Today's my bulk day, so I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
Today's your cheat day?
Yeah, kinda.
What did you say?
My bulk day, I call it. It's the day where I like work out heavily, so I worked out heavily today already.
So I have this vision of making it shelf-stable and selling it online and building that brand, and like I don't want to give up until I know it's not going to taste good with that, or I have 100+ stores, or I'm in a Whole Foods, and like once I'm in a Whole Foods and I fail, it's like, hey dude, you got in the Whole Foods, you did enough demos to see if people like this or not, like then I give up, right? Then I give up. It's not the time for me to give up yet. Like I feel like giving up a lot. I feel like giving up way more than I really want to admit. Like, and some days I'm just not. Like I had to go grind outside because I'm just stressed. It's like it's tough, right? But I have this vision of what I want to do, and I know that if I don't try to get as close to that vision as possible, I will regret not doing it. I will regret not pushing it to the finish line. Because if I push it to the finish line and we lose the game, hey,
at least you gave it all your all.
I played the fucking game. I fucking gave it 110%, and I know you're somewhat impressed with my operations stuff, but like, I'm also building a lot of skills and leadership to become employable by someone else. Like I'm learning Spanish from my employees. I'm doing a lot of crazy fun stuff, and I know a lot about food science, and I never would have done any of this stuff, dude. I just had this stupid idea in rehab. And then, yeah, and then that's what started.
That was the inception of YoBe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't know it.
Not
I got
like intricately.
12 years ago, I dropped booze, and they give you coffee at AA meetings, and so I wanted to create caffeinated yogurt. And so it took me 10 years to have the courage. It wasn't until my MBA where I decided I want to be an entrepreneur. I didn't want to do the corporate America route. And I started selling on the boardwalk, and people were buying it, went to farmers markets, and but I mean, that's how I started my idea. But I would have never, when I had the idea of caffeinated yogurt, I didn't think I'd be selling protein smoothies.
It evolves, man.
It's not what it was.
The ideas evolve.
It's evolved, yeah.
I didn't think my life was gonna lead me this path at all.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think I was gonna end up doing like a bunch of wellness events now, which is something that I've been kind of like focusing on. I don't know if you've been doing that.
Sunshine Creative Wellness event?
Yeah, are you gonna be in that too?
Are you doing that next week?
Yeah.
Sunday?
Are you there? All right.
Are you gonna be there demoing?
Yeah, I'll be there demoing, man. You know
this guy's in it. I'm in it too.
See, you and I are on this same trajectory with a different product.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and that was an unexpected turn for me also.
Hannah
like
and Angela are awesome.
Yeah, Hannah. I met Hannah more than Angela.
Yeah.
And we met at this other wellness community thing, and she's been around, and she's tried the product a bunch of times, so she invited me.
She's cool.
And
Are you giving 100 samples? $100?
Yeah, 100 samples. I sent like a bunch of free samples.
$100?
I think I paid a lot. I think I paid more. Did they charge you less?
What tier did you?
Maybe you got a preferential treatment.
No, I'm not preferential.
I got like tier 2, I think.
See, I did.
It was like 500, 400.
You're doing something. I bet you're gonna be there, right?
I'll be there in person.
Cool.
I wouldn't miss it.
They're not fucking.
Well,
I did the lowest tier. Because I don't have the money. $500. Fuck that shit, dude.
I know, and it was maybe more expensive,
awesome.
but a lot of the events that I've been going to lately, honestly, like that's on par, sort of like for what they're offering.
I believe
a lot of them are
they're
expensive.
Gonna bring actual influencers.
I think so too. That's why I know her, so I know she's a smart girl. She's capable. Smart, yeah. Like they have their own company. Like really she used to work for like I think it's like some makeup company before or something in marketing.
They got their shit locked. I believe in them. Like generally, these wellness people, it's a waste of time. Do we agree on that?
The wellness people?
When wellness people are like, hey, come do something at our thing, right? What do you think? Let's
I like it actually.
You like it?
The wellness events?
I think it's a waste of time.
You think so? Have you?
For me, it's a waste. Like, are you going there and demoing the whole time?
Sometimes, yeah.
See, it's a waste of time for me. Like, I would rather be at an Airwine selling my product.
But sometimes you can't do both. Like, you can do both.
That's what I'm doing it with them.
Like, you don't have to stop doing the Airwine demos.
I mean, but like, you could also give free samples of your product to people easily because it's shelf stable, right? You could send it to these wellness events and not even show up.
Right. For me, honestly.
But you do have the issue of like showing how to use it. Like you have a similar product of like, it's different, right? It's not just like, here's tea, right? It's like, oh, this is blue. This is
turns blue.
Like, yeah.
Because of the blue, like, it just makes it more fun. So it's a fun time. And I enjoy it, honestly. So I go because I like to be at those events a lot of times. And I've met, like, a lot of people at the different events.
For me,
it's been cool. And I make sales every time. And it's honestly worth it. Like, sales-wise, like, maybe I'll make, like, 100 some days, maybe 200 some days, depending. Which isn't, like, a huge amount.
Are we going to be selling stuff at these things? I think it's just free.
I'm not sure. I don't know about this one, but some of them, like most of them, I'll just I'll serve tea to people for free, and then everybody can just drink it hot or cold, however they want. And then I'll just have the product there, and people will buy it, and they'll buy like 3, 4, 5 units. Like I had one event 2 days ago in Laguna Beach, and it's sick. It's a fun time. Like there's just like a bunch of like interesting people who are also like entrepreneurs following their dream kind of thing. So we're all kind of just vibing off ideas off of each other.
I think it makes more sense for you. But we should go to some startup CPG stuff, and you know what that is?
Yeah.
Let's do more CPG.
I haven't gone to any of their events though.
They're really good. Come check it out. That's how I got into Bristol.
Okay, no way.
I want to call this out because I'm getting tired and I want to help him with some things, and he's going to help me. But this has been great, Julian. I really appreciate you. Where can we follow your products and get it?
So you can go on magiktea.com,
Yeah.
magiktea.com, and our Instagram, it's @drinkmagic, MAGIK with a K at the end. And there you can learn a lot more about it, see videos, learn about the benefits, and there you can get some magic.
Get some fucking magic. Let's go.
Drink the magic, my friends.
Boom.
All right.